Hi everyone, my name is Frances. Welcome to Transparent Conversations.
And I'm Chrislyn. Thank you for having a conversation with us. Today's topic is who told you this is how life should be?
I like this topic because we live in a social construct. Society is a social construct. Society was built by us, and every idea you think what life should be was given to us. This is someone else's idea of life, not necessarily our own. The moment we come on earth, we get to hear ideas of what life should be. We should do this by the time you're at this age. So most of the time we get lost in a space of who am I, and is this really my life I'm supposed to be living? Because we are living in a social construct. That may not even be your life that you're living. It could be some dead person that's been gone for thousands of years idea of life that you're living in 2025.
Exactly. And that person that lived long ago shaped the expectations that society has for you, shapes the expectations that even your family has for you. I recently read a really good article by Kelsey Schultz from the Berkeley Wellbeing Institute. The article is titled Expectations Define Theory, Definition, Theory, and Quotes. So, a really good definition of expectations that I got from this article was that expectations are standards, beliefs, or assumptions that people make about the future based on personal experiences, cultural norms, social structures, desires, or explicit agreements about what someone is going to do or be. A good way to tell when an expectation is yours or an expectation was given to you is by just asking questions, questioning your own ideas of how life is supposed to be, questioning other people's idea of how life is should be, going out of your way to make yourself uncomfortable about like different answers that you may find. Trying to educate yourself is probably the biggest way to step out of these social expectations or these personal expectations that you have for yourself and that other people impose onto you.
I agree. A lot of the times, those expectation really robs you of a lot of things. It robs you of your true self. It takes away your ability to be authentic to yourself and to live freely. One of the reasons why I really stand against social construct ideas and societal standards is because those standards take away your ability to live freely. If society is telling you you have to be this and you know within yourself, this is not me, I don't want to do this. And when you try to go the other route, the fact that you are stepping out of society norm, it becomes a problem for other people, not for you, but for other people, and people that you don't even know. They hate the fact that you have to disappoint them for you to live truly with yourself. Even though they don't know you from a can of paint, they just want you to follow what society is telling you to follow. You gotta follow the script. You need to be this, you need to be that, and you need to follow all of these things. And we don't care what you think. For me, it's a no. You can't tell me what to do. No, I hold on to this quote by Oprah. The quote says, "You can't live a brave life without disappointing others," and I take that to heart. I am okay disappointing people. I am okay disappointing others in order for me to live a brave and free life, because this is my life. This is, I have to live in those expectations that you set up when I wasn't even born. Mind you, we walked into this thing. We literally walked into it. Like, we didn't make those up on our own. This was something that was given to us. And for you to expect me to live my entire existence on earth with that construct is mind blowing to me.
And having the courage to live outside of what you're used to, or having the courage to disappoint people that you love, is very important because sometimes expectations that you think are for your own benefit or for that's the best for you end up being very detrimental.
Mm-hmm.
A quote from the same article that I referenced earlier states the predictive processing theory. So, this theory suggests that the brain is a prediction machine. In other words, it proposes that the brain continuously generates predictions about incoming sensory information and compares those predictions to the actual sensory inputs it receives. So, this process of updating predictions in response to sensory inputs allows the brain to refine its model of the world and improve its predictions over time. So living by old standards or old expectations of what society wants for you or what people around you want for you may be like the easiest road to follow, but sometimes it's good to follow the path less traveled by. And doing so can not only benefit you long run, it might feel painful in the short run because you might lose friends, lose family, even have to question your own identity. But by having the courage and taking the first step to question your own beliefs or to question your identity that other people impose onto you is the first step to rewiring your brain into a life that gives you more freedom.
For you mentioned if the expectation or the societal construct might be an easy route to follow. I'm a little bit on the fence of that because um, how easy it is for you to follow if you're losing a part of you.
Yeah.
Right? It might be something you might just be on autopilot, right? And being autopilot is not the best way to run your life. It might be quote unquote easy for you to follow, but are you doing a good service to yourself? You as an individual, you as a human being. So all this expectation fits who you are, and it's hard to know that if you don't peel away all of the layers that was placed on top of you. One of the reasons why I push deconstruction is that if you don't deconstruct things that was given to you, how can you know who you really are?
Yeah, and you bring up a good point of peeling back the different expectations because expectations are inescapable, but having a better understanding of those expectations in a situation can allow you the freedom to either adhere to those expectations, alter them, branch out to other people that have expectations that you agree with, or completely remove yourself from a situation that does not serve you. Because peeling back different expectations means re-examining them in a lens of does this benefit me or not, because although it may be like a typical expectation for women to be super feminine, super girly, you can re-examine.
That don't even make sense, by the way.
Yeah.
Like that's performative.
Yeah.
No one could just be that.
Yeah.
You have to perform, and once you step into performing, it's no longer your true self.
And that's why peeling back the different layers and re-examining them can be so important, because every person is different.
Right.
So for some people, they might like the more feminine look. For some people, they like a little bit of a mix of both. Some people like to tone things down or like the more natural or even more like masculine look. So it really depends on the person.
To even think clothes is a feminine and masculine is even crazy. This is for example, right? The color pink, right? The color pink was a male color. That was the color that was given to men for years, right? And then it got switched to women. Part of the unnecessary expectation people are basing their life on. Why are you basing certain things on a gender? Like those are colors. And those are the exact expectation we're saying. They expect you to be girly girl, but what is girly girl?
Yeah.
Right? Are you saying the pink? Because that's literally a color.
Yeah, even heels. Heels are typically worn by men of a higher status.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like we are lazy. Not me though, but like we're lazy to do the work. You have to figure out, where did this come from? When was this construct developed? We're living in a social construct. Everything was created by us. You should be able to sit down and say, where did this come from? Right? Why did this started? Who was it? Who started it? Right? Who was wearing this, and when did the shift happen? Because as you look through history, there's always a shift. Things are moving as time goes by. So to base your life on a certain construct, to think that everyone else's life should go that way, is crazy. I do have a question.
Mm-hmm.
What expectation that you as a woman in society, an African woman, that was placed on you that you did not give any consent for, and now you feel like you need to break those apart and work through your own self?
Expectation that I think was placed on me is probably one relating to marriage and age.
Right.
So I am in my late 20s, getting up there to my 30s, and I know you're
I'm in my
in
30s.
your 30s. So having that expectation of people always asking, oh, do you have a boyfriend yet? Do you have a man
So
yet?
annoying.
Like, are you gonna get married anytime soon? It's like, that's nobody's business, first of all. And that expectation of always needing somebody, and even having the idea of somebody coming to rescue you from the idea of life.
That's
like
Disney.
Someone that you always have to depend on. So I think having to detach from that and kind of just reevaluating. I think you mentioned laziness. Sometimes I have to re-examine my own laziness and be like, why do I feel the need? Why do I think that other people need to do stuff for me when I need to, get up from my behind and do it myself? Why do I need to desire to rely on a man's finances when I need to push forward and have my own finances, so that no one's ever going to take that away from me? That is one thing I give my parents credit for sure, is that they always push the idea of education and independence. Get your education, get a high paying job, know how to cook, know how to clean
for yourself,
exactly,
right? Not for any man or
now
man.
They did mention for a man, but they did say that, but I'm not living with you can't live with a man forever, so at some point you're gonna have to live independently. So that's how I kind of interpreted it. They said for a man, but I said for myself.
They're always pushing that.
Exactly.
Do this for a man, and that's one of the things. That's a construct that I reject wholeheartedly. So yeah, I agree with you.
So definitely give credit to my parents for education first. Cook, clean, live independently, and then down the line marriage. But then for me, it's kind of it doesn't really need to be down the line. It could just be if I want to or not.
But I said that is a choice, right? But the expectation is for you to get married, for you to know these skills, because as a woman, you should know those skills, which is basic skills.
Basic.
This is not even a woman or a man thing. It's just skills that you need to survive in society.
Exactly.
And we talked about looking up where those things come from. The whole idea that relying on a man came from somewhere. Yeah. You have to look at those things on a scope, zoom out. Zoom out of your own head and view those things on a wider scope, and not just what is being told to you. For me, an expectation that was given is, as a Black person and as an African, you have to believe in God. You have to be a Christian. You can't go all the way. In her mind, believing in God, if it's it, as a Black person, as an African person. When you don't believe in a God, it becomes something wrong with you. Everyone is trying to save you from some imaginary place that they think exists. They all get scared because God is something that they expect you to be to be afraid of, and for you to like dedicate your entire life to it. And when I did the due diligence to do my research only on it, this is how I started my deconstruction. Again, you can't be lazy to do research. This is your life.
Yeah.
If you're going to dedicate your life to something like a religion, marriage, and what other idea, find out where those ideas came from.
Yeah, I think.
And is it beneficial to me?
Yeah, and people probably not only are like lazy, but they fall into the comfort of community because they know that people around them are going to accept them for that. So they fall into that comfort.
Good point.
Yeah, they fall into that comfort of like, well, I want to be loved. I want to be appreciated. I want to fit in. So let me do what's best for me to fit into that expectation of my family or expectation of society. But if you get too comfortable just falling into what people expect of you, you don't understand how much that having a certain type of belief can affect your self-esteem and how you see yourself.
You mentioned community.
Yes.
And it's one of the reasons why people do stay in places that they're not supposed to be in. I wouldn't say not supposed to, but they're still longer in those places because of the fear of the unknown.
Yes.
We humans fear the unknown so much. We fear things that we don't have the full scope of. So the unknown is something that humans are afraid of for no reason. And the moment you grasp the concept that life is just unpredictable, and the only thing that you are going to find in the unknown is more of yourself.
Exactly.
There is literally nothing there. You're just gonna meet yourself, and whether it's the better version of yourself or the less better version, but I promise you it will always be the better part of you, because you are leaving something behind and stepping into something new. That's something new. You give yourself a space to create in that new place that you are in.
Yeah. Another really good article that I want to point out is from the National Library of Medicine. And the article title is Feeling Our Place in the World, an active inference account of self-esteem. So the article, to quote the article, it says, self-esteem, the evaluation of one's own worth or value, is a critical aspect of psychological well-being and mental health. In this paper, they define the word esteem came from the English language and is associated with self-esteem or the evaluation of self. So sometimes if you become too comfortable in how other people expect you to be, you don't realize how much that negatively affects your self-esteem. If you're always told, hey, just sit there, listen to what we tell you, don't think, don't go by your own understanding, you don't allow yourself to really critically think of what someone is telling you, you don't allow yourself to, you start to have self-doubt of your own feelings.
Right.
And that self-doubt can kind of have you questioning what you feel when you feel something is wrong.
Stop trusting yourself.
Exactly.
You are following every standard, like you don't know what those things are doing to your self-esteem. Like the society standard, like I have to be light skinned and like a thinner nose, and I'm dark skinned and I don't have a small nose, right? I have my father's nose, which is beautiful. But my point stands that those are construct that is built in society, which is why you see a lot of our African people bleaching, right? They bleach that skin because according to them meant like fair skinned or light skinned women, and they need to feel beautiful. Their self-esteem is shut down. They're being forced to perform and forced to leave behind who they truly are just to be in a relationship. Once you're allowing all of those things to take over you, you forget who you are. I have this pretty saying that I say to myself: if I allow people to tell me what to do all the time, I lose my ability to make strategic decisions for myself. I need a decision that I need to make, and I keep going to everyone to help me make that decision. There will be a point of time where I won't trust my own decision making.
Yeah.
And I'm big on trusting yourself. And trusting yourself is going to break down all of those expectations. It's going to break down a societal construct that is harmful for you, right? A lot of those construct is not good. Now, I'm not saying everything is bad, but you should think about stuff logically. Don't just hear stuff and run by it and be like, yeah, that is the truth, or it sounds right. Most of the time, when I hear some of the stuff or read some of those things, it only sounds good when you are not thinking, but when you're peeling back layers and listening to words, like, this shit don't make no damn sense. You have to pay attention to what is being said. Think about it. Does this even make sense?
And this all starts like the mental.
Right.
You have to not only think about what others are saying, but think about what your own thoughts are playing in your head.
Right.
And then as you start to reevaluate your own thoughts, that can then be expressed outwardly. Like you talked about, like social beauty standards. One thing that I struggled with growing up was like my nose. I hated my nose. I hated how wide it was, or how wide I thought it was.
Right.
But even now, as I've started to build my self-esteem more and more, I find myself looking at myself in the mirror every single day and just like giving myself a cute little exactly giving myself a cute little smile and just like appreciating how I look, making my own face something that I'm used to, and so that it becomes my own standard. Although
yes,
exactly
my own standard.
Exactly. Yeah. So we might think that, oh, these beauty standards are imposed onto us, or that's what everyone thinks. But we have to realize society is only the way it is because people contributed to it.
Right.
Because you are part of a society, you can create your own standards for yourself and influence other people around you. Society doesn't just have to tell you how to do things.
Because you are society.
Exactly.
Like, you live in society, you are society. Things that you make up is society. Like,
yes.
We need to understand that we are society. We can make up stuff, and people that would come after us is going to follow those things. That's how it works.
Exactly. That's a big part of the solution.
Right.
Is that you have to realize that society can only impose what they want onto you if you allow it, but then you can also impose what you want onto society. You can reject societal standards.
Yes.
You can reject like certain limiting ideas that you have yourself, or you have of yourself, or that other people have for you.
Yeah,
so that's a big part of making the change that you want to happen. You're starting with yourself, starting with your thoughts, starting with the people around you, and then once you are able to outwardly express the idea, the world that you want to live in, and influence other people, you can then in turn change society as well. And going back to people's fear of the unknown, that fear comes from assumptions that they made about the world outside of themselves.
Not just the assumption, though. What was also given to them.
Yes. But those assumptions are,
assumption of others. And your own assumption, too.
Exactly. So those assumptions based on expectations, based on what you thought and even like lies that were told to you can very much contribute to that fear. But then once you start to take the first step to step out of what you thought you knew, the world becomes a lot more colorful, a lot more broader, a lot freer than you initially thought.
Because people will project that fear onto you.
Oh yeah.
I'll give an example. We Africans, and there is this saying of cats, right? Africans don't like cats because they believe it's witchcraft or something like that. That fear was placed onto me. Mind you, cat ain't do nothing to me. I started to fear cats for no reason. Like, cats started to, when I see your cat, I will run because I think the cat is a witch, right? It's funny. But when I started my deconstruction, I started to do little things to break that fear where I would go to a cat cafe.
Oh, those are so cute.
Yes, it really is cute. I'll go to a cat cafe and watch the cats. And I saw my fear start to shatter, right? Because those were not my fear. Like, I didn't know why I was holding on to it. In my class that I just went to, my pottery class, the woman had cats in her studio, and I did not mind the cat coming next to me. I was able to like rub on it, and the entire time I was thinking to myself like, wow, why was I afraid of cats again? That don't even make sense. I was carrying somebody else's fear, which is why you need to figure out why you are this person. Why do you fear this?
And you made a really big point about you took it like you made it your responsibility.
Yeah.
To face those fears. And I think as human beings, it is our responsibility to live the life that we want by re-examining the things around us and from inwards outwards. So I think that in conclusion is like the biggest thing. Like you are responsible for yourself. You are responsible for your own life. You are responsible for the life you do want to live.
I agree.
No one else is responsible for you.
I agree. So we're about to like bring this down to a closing. Something that I will leave with you is to figure out a way to break down, to unlearn and relearn new things. I went through the deconstruction route. You don't have to go through that route. This is your life. This is your journey. Figure out a way to learn and unlearn things. Knowledge is power. You need to know why you are learning, why those things was given to you. You need to learn, why am I following this? Is this beneficial for me? It is your duty to build the life that you choose to live, not someone else. Or else you're just gonna be living in someone else's idea, and that will be your life until you leave this earth. The choice is yours. It really is.
It really is. And kind of just going back to what you just said, you owe it to yourself to step out of your comfort zone because you never know what you can discover about yourself. Like it took me living off campus to realize like there's so many different people I can meet and so many different friends I have and so many different foods I could try to where now even like I have new favorite foods aside from the foods that I grew up eating. So you owe it to yourself to try. Like the world is so big.
It is.
Why limit yourself to what you know and expand your world by trying something new?
There is so much out there to learn. There is so much life out there. Do it for yourself. Learn to live freely, boldly, live brave, and live truly.
Exactly.
With everything that you want to do. You don't have to follow every single thing. Thanks for staying with us, and this is Transparent Conversation.
Thank you.